Yo, I wanted to give some advice on artisan mousepads. So I've used the Hien, Shidenkai V2, and Hayate Otsu all in xsoft XL size. Now the first point I want to touch on is xsoft. Now for me, the first time using xsoft, it was like placing my hand on a cushion. It was so my first artisan mousepad was the artisan Hien, and when I put my wrist on there, first time using it, I was like, oh my god, this feels amazing. It's like I'm playing on a cushion. I love the texture. I love the softness. Um, People say that the soft version, like it's like people are worried that it's too soft, that their mouse is going to sink into it or like affect their aim or like add more resistance. And to me, I don't really see how that can happen. Xsoft is it's still firm. It's quite firm. You have to push in quite a lot for it to have any give. Like even me playing now, I use a G303, the original G303, and I have to like change my grip if I want to put any pressure on it enough for it to affect my mouse glide. Originally, I was enticed by the like, proposition of having like a third dimension to my aiming where I could push into the pad for that extra control. And it's there to some extent, but it's hard to do. It's something you really have to do on purpose, and you're probably not going to do it by accident. Like, I would have to like grip my mouse like this and like push down on the back of it just to have that like effect of extra control. At least it's something I would have to put a lot of pressure into. Um so the hien, I love the texture of the hien. It feels amazing on my wrist. Combined with xsoft at least, I don't like wearing like sleeves, like long sleeve tops or like anything that would take my wrist contact away from the pad. I don't want to wear it because it just feels so amazing on my wrist. I love the feeling of the hien and xsoft together, and I just prefer that over using. I prefer that over everything else. Like I wouldn't ever want to wear like an arm sleeve. I've never used an arm sleeve, but it's not an attractive option for me at least anymore. And I don't even like having like a long sleeve top on or a jacket or a hoodie or whatever. I much prefer the feeling that I get of just my bare wrist on the mouse pad with that combination. Um, and then that takes me into the shidenkai. So for the shidenkai, uh, at first when I got it, so I've had it for about 2 weeks now. When I first got it, it was it was weird. It felt like a hard pad. It felt like plastic, and still playing with it to this day. People said there was a break-in period. That was about a week, and I've been using it for 2 weeks nonstop. Um, it still feels the same. Like it hasn't changed much, in my opinion. Not that I've noticed, anyway. The main thing for me is that my wrist sort of, or my skin gets stuck to it. It feels. I mean, I've never used a glass pad, but I assume it's the same issue that normal glass pads would have, where if you have a little bit of sweat, you your skin gets stuck to it, and you don't have a completely smooth glide anymore. At least if your skin is in contact at all. I haven't tried like an arm sleeve or whatever, but using like wearing a long sleeve top or a hoodie, it remedies this issue mostly, unless you're like the palm of your hand touches the pad. Now, that's not the only problem I have with the Shidenkai V2. I've been using a G303 for about 8 years now, since 2016, and that's been my main mouse ever since. I haven't found anything that replaces it. It's the most comfortable for me. But recently I also got a Beast X Mini to try out because it was an attractive mouse to me. And with the Artisan Shidenkai V2, I have spin out issues on both of them. It doesn't happen all the time, and it's honestly quite rare. But it does happen with both mice. And the original G303 has a 3366 or 3360 sensor, and the Beast X Mini has a 3395. So the Beast X Mini has like the top of the line sensor that just came out or is very recent, but it still has these spin out issues, and I've never had spin out issues before. And I get them on this pad. I get them on the Shidenkai V2. So that's something to be wary of. Like, no matter what your mouse is, maybe it doesn't happen with the hero sensors, but I haven't tried that. Another thing I want to touch on is that people say that there are XY differences on artisan pads, especially the hien. And I really don't think it's something you have to worry about. From the very first moments of me using the hien to now, 6 months later, I haven't noticed any XY differences. And if there was anything, I don't think it would affect your aim. Especially since normally in games you're aiming horizontally, not vertically. And if you were aiming vertically, maybe that would help. But I don't notice it at all. So your mileage may vary. I've used plenty of different skates. I'm currently using X-ray pad jades. I've used obsidians and ghost glide vortexes, and also the stock skates on my G303. And in no case did I notice any XY differences, so I think you'll be okay. Now I mentioned the otsu. So the otsu feels like a smoother, 10% faster hien, and I didn't have much time with it, but I don't think I would buy it if I have the hien. I don't really see a point. I prefer the texture of the hien. The texture of the hien is amazing. It feels amazing to use. I love the contact with my wrist, and the hayate otsu, I guess it just feels like a very similar pad but smoother. So if that's what you want, go for it. It does look quite cool with the zigzag pattern, but besides that, I don't think it's something I need to pick up now, since I have the hien, and I'm really glad I tried it. But now that I mentioned the hayate otsu, I can tell you how I got some time with it. So Artisan has a policy that you can order 2 pads for the same delivery price as one. The standard delivery price is £20 if you convert yen to pounds, which is maybe $25. And you have to pay the same shipping price whether you order 1 or 2 pads, which means that if you order 2 pads, you can split that with a friend. Buy 2 pads, give 1 to your friend, they pay half the shipping price and the price for the pad, obviously, and suddenly your purchase is a lot cheaper, like £10 cheaper if they live near you, or even if you have to send it to them, the delivery price generally isn't that expensive, and you're halving the delivery price to them anyway. So for me, my friend lives quite far away from me. It was only £6 through Royal Mail to send the pad to him, so we split that. It was £3, and the price to order a pad from Artisan was £20, so we split that, and it was £10 each. So in total, we paid £13 each instead of £20 to order 1 pad, or 2 pads, 1 each. He got the hayate otsu, so I tried it out before sending it to him, and I got the shidenkai V2. And recently I did the same thing again. I have a friend who lives near me who's interested in artisan pads, so I wanted to try their Raiden, and the Raiden only came to £38 in total, including that shipping price once we've halved it, and he wanted to get the hien. So we both paid £38, and that's how we did our order. And the other friend, he ordered the hayate otsu, like I said before, that was £38. It's £28 for these pads, by the way, and then you add the £10 shipping cost once you've split it, so it comes to £38 in total. And the Shidenkai V2 is very expensive. I think I paid £60 in total for that. That's after including the shipping price. So yeah, that's all my advice on artisan mousepads. Ordering mousepads, my experiences with them, and what I think of them. I haven't tried soft or mid. Soft's just supposed to be like regular mousepads, but I think xsoft is what I'll always pick over anything, and mid is supposed to be almost hard pad levels of rigidity. So whatever floats your boat, but I really like xsoft, and hien so far is my favorite pad. And when I get my Raiden, uh, maybe I'll make an update, tell you guys what I think about that. Thanks for watching.
Had, heard of the pad and was like, you know what, I want to try this out. And he was trying it out and he swore by it. And then we were at QuakeCon in either 2014, I think, 2014 or 2015. And he had an extra one and he gave it to me because I tried it out like in the tournament area. I was like, dude, I love the feel of this pad. Like, I like the grainy texture. It feels fast. I can tell it reads really well on your mouse. I was like, I'd love to try it. And he said, well, I've got an extra one. So he just linking up and gave me his last pad that he had for that. And yeah, I fell in love with it. I used it for a long time. And then once I joined Liquid, though, had to use Razer products. And so once Alienware took that over and they allowed us to use everything, I went back from Razer to artisan hien. And I have tried the other pads, but the hien, it's what's for me.